Hello guys, welcome back to Ryuichi Plays Technic Pack. And like I said in the last video, there may be a little bit of a harsh cut in this episode because of the split that I had to make. Like I said, I have really fun time making these videos, so unfortunately I don't pay attention to the time that I am spending actually recording each one. And I have to spend a lot of time editing through and taking out the unnecessary stuff. So I thought that I'd split them up to keep all the content in them because there is a lot of cool stuff in each video, and I think that you guys will enjoy it, hopefully. So this is episode 8, and thank you guys for watching. Okay, we're going to make the energy condenser. Now this part of the equivalent exchange mod is by far the most expensive and the most rewarding at the same time, because everything equivalent exchange is pretty much how it says. You know, you get what you pay for, and you pay for what you want. And the energy condenser is going to take a it's going to take a diamond block in the middle. So we're going to have to work on getting 9 diamonds. And then it's going to take glowstone blocks on either side, a furnace, and then some glass. And what the energy collector and condenser do is that they transfer energy to make something that you want. The collector will take energy from light. So if you're going to want to put a glowstone block over it, and it will turn the light energy into EMC, and that EMC will turn whatever fuel, charcoal, coal, not nickelite, but every other fuel, through it. So blaze powder also counts as a fuel, but not blaze rods. So don't try to do that. That could waste some of your time and energy. And it will turn that all the way up to its the highest fuel rating, and that is going to be Eternalist fuel. Eternalist fuel is going to be worth exactly as much as a diamond, so you can sell that for a diamond after a long time, because collectors will take a while, and then use that to also create dark matter, to create armor, or create red matter, and we'll go through that because it is a long process to creating things, and they are very expensive. So it's better to show you by actually doing it later on, instead of just throwing a whole bunch of information at you at one time. But until then, we'll make the condenser, and not the collector. I said the condenser in the beginning, I meant the collector is the most expensive but the most rewarding. We're going to make alchemical chests and condensers. And what we're going to need to do is, because it is a pain in the neck for me to find to find a diamond, and by that I mean I haven't found a diamond yet, so sorry guys. We're just going to have to just go on industrial diamonds. So let's go back into the cave once again and just get a whole ton of coal, and we'll just make some diamonds. Alright, so instead of actually doing that, sorry about that, we can actually just take a whole ton of, let's just take a bunch of tin. We can use a bunch of it anyway, and then some gold. We can take all of this stuff out, which will turn, because right here is the lock. The lock is whatever it is locked on, and at this moment it is locked on matter. So what we want to do is make sure we can take all the matter we can out of here for now. And this may take a second, and we'll just take all the matter out of here as we can for now, turn it into basically whatever we want, and just throw it away, and it'll go into our backpacks. And we could take the fuel we have, which is nickelite and redstone. We preferably not use redstone, but we can use nickelite and learn it. And then we learn coal. And there we go. With an EMC this high, coal I think is worth 128 EMC. Charcoal is worth 64. And then redstone is the next one. So it goes charcoal, redstone, coal, and it tiers up. So I think actually it's either 32 or 64. Let's just check. So I think it's 100 or so. No, my math's 128, I think. So redstone is worth 64, and then I think charcoal is worth 32. It could be a pain in the neck to memorize all the values. If you just remember the tiers with fuel, it's actually a lot easier than with matter, because matter is just a ridiculous setup that they have going. Also, I wanted to show you guys that you can learn resin, and it's worth 24 EMC as matter, and that's very good to know, because we unfortunately, even after all the time we spent getting those trees ready, we probably don't need them that much anymore, because we can just use EMC to create them. So we'll take all that coal, 64 coal, and we'll turn that into diamond. So as we sit here waiting for this coal, which will probably take upwards of forever to actually turn into the coal dust, I'll show you a neat trick into creating a special item called a cooling cell. And cooling cells are useful for nuclear energy, as well as creating overclocker upgrades. Now, overclocker upgrades, what they do is they take the machine that you're using, like a macerator, and they will overclock them, basically cause them to use more electricity but work faster. So I think there's a limit. I'm not sure exactly how high that limit is for how much the overclockers will stack, but that'll be the limit for how many you can put in each machine. But it goes to at least like 8 or 9 or maybe more than that. And I haven't made too many and put them into a single machine at once, but they'll use more electricity, but they will be a lot faster. So what we're going to do that, because we need to place a water cell into the extractor, and when it does, it makes a coolant cell, but coolant cells don't stack, which is a very important and also annoying fact to how they work. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started on Buildcraft, because we can use that to our advantage to actually making it so we don't have to worry about them not stacking. So we'll make a wooden transport pipe. Wooden transport pipes are pipes that will take items out of a machine or a chest. And that is useful because sometimes you want to take stuff out. This side, we'll take this side and the left side, and I think the back side and the front side will take items from machines from their outputs. Top, we'll place it into this input, and the bottom we'll place it into this energy or specific input, like special kind of inputs that they might have on the bottom. Some machines will be more complicated with the transport pipes, but this right here, this solid area, that's where the pipe is going to be taken from, and then we'll make a chest, so it'll be putting it into that chest. And also we need to get some iron. Iron is worth exactly as much as tin, which is worth half as much as silver, which is worth half as much as gold, and copper is worth half as much or maybe less than iron or tin. So the ingots are almost exactly like the fuel system, but it also adds a very elaborate set of other matter that goes into it. So first we will make a piston. We're going to need some wood for that. used a bunch of it for the signs, which probably wasn't that a good idea. It was a little bit of a waste. So now that we have a piston, what we're going to make is an engine. Engines require wooden gears, which are 4 sticks like this, and you can turn them into cobblestone gears, and you can turn them into iron gears, and they only go up in level basis on what the value of what you're using. So you can't turn a wooden gear into an iron gear. You have to turn it into a stone gear, then an iron gear, and it can get a little bit expensive, but it's worth it when we get into the machines that I make. So piston in the middle. Well, let's take this piston and save us a whole bunch of time, and we can actually learn the piston, so that's a very good thing because it's not that expensive and it's way easier than just making a piston every time. So we put the 2 gears, the glass and the piston, and then 3 wood on top, and that will create the basic engine, the redstone engine. And this one works based on a redstone current, or which is you don't really need to have a direct redstone current. You can, but it's a waste of space. You could just place this down, place a lever or a redstone torch, and that'll be the current that you need to run it. So what we need now is a chest, which we have enough wood now. And oh yeah, let's keep these cells. So we place this chest down. This is great. We actually got some of this cool stuff going, and this is just gonna start making the house incredibly ridiculous because we're gonna have every one of the mods working together at some point. And let's charge up this battery, and we'll turn this on once we get everything running. Soon we'll put generators in that room. That's the room I like to have it on its own circuit, and we'll have ourselves solar panels in here. So let me show you the predicament that is associated with this process. So as we create one coolant cell, it does not stack. So this coolant cell is stuck, and this extractor cannot create any more coolant cells because they must be stacked. So we use the redstone engine to our advantage, and now it'll start pumping. And as the color of the redstone engine changes, that'll show its output. Optimum output is green or red. I think it's red, or I mean orange. It'll look a little bit red, and you won't have to worry about redstone's engines at all. So they can run at red, and that'll mean it's good because they'll be running way faster than they should be, but they won't do anything. If you get a coal or a combustion, which will a steam or combustion engine, which are going to be the stone, and then the iron engines. This is a wood engine, but they call it the redstone engine. But I like to call it by what they're made with. And as you can see, this coolant cell is being moved into this chest every time it's created by this. So as I was saying, make sure you watch out for the coal and the combustion engines, because the steam and the combustion engines will run red if they're running too fast, or they're running futilely because they're not actually powering anything. And that could cause an explosion, a bad explosion with the combustion engines. And they'll flash red. They'll go from blue to green, to orange, and then red, and then they'll flash red. And like when they're flashing red, you turn them off, or there will be an explosion, and you will likely lose a chunk of your stuff. And it's really a waste, because you lose the engine, you lose the stuff you were making, and you'll lose something else, most likely. So it's always best to monitor your engines, because it's good to forget and let them do their thing, because then you won't have to worry about them too much, but you always come back within a good amount of time, or you could be looking in at a lot of damage to your house. Alright, so let's get ready to make that overclocker upgrade, and we'll just let all this stuff run, and we'll need to gather some more materials. Now then, we take an electronic circuit, which I made during the break, and copper cable on either side, and then we use the coolant cells, which don't stack once again, so it'll be much harder to use the project table, but if you have enough space in here, you can use it pretty effectively, so long as you don't overcrowd it, which I tend to do sometimes, so you can call me out on it, but here we go. Overclocker upgrades. Now there's going to be other types of upgrades, and we might get into them later on. Some of them are they're not as useful as they could be, but the overclocker upgrade is definitely useful for what it does. So now, with this loud macerator, we will take this, and as you can see, the speed of how it's going it's not optimal. So though this won't increase its speed that much, it will increase its speed significantly, incrementally. So one of them, it will make it go, I think like 10% faster, somewhere around there, and more and more, it will go much faster, and we will save ourselves a whole bunch of time waiting for this coal to turn into sticky dust. So what I'm doing here is I'm going down into my little cave, and I'm pressing the use button with my cells, and I'm gathering up some lava. For two reasons. I need a bunch of lava to make some more obsidian, so I can learn it and use it to create anything that requires obsidian, like the portal and like the transmutation tablet. And that's going to be very useful, because I can also take these lava cells and, like I said, place them into the generator, the geothermal generator, and make a ton of electricity for later on. So I just wanted to show you guys what a little example of how I do that. Now then, as we're running these generators, we run into a problem. We don't have any charcoal. We could go ahead and burn some wood, but that would be tedious, and it would also require energy and charcoal itself if we don't want to use energy. So what we can do is place the Philosopher's Stone right here, and place some charcoal in there, and we'll make, I'm placing regular coal in there, and we'll make 4 charcoal. That is a nice little trick that can save you some time. Plus, you can turn 3 coal into 12 charcoal, which could be used in a variety of ways and save you some time. Now, with that, you can also go upwards. So I will take my Philosopher's Stone and also show you another new trick, that you can use it as an on-the-go crafting table, so you never need a crafting bench ever again. Press C, and it will become a crafting area. So we take the Philosopher's Stone and let's again make some more charcoal. But let's say you needed 1 coal because you only had 63 in the macerator for some coal dust. So you take that charcoal, or you take some charcoal, and you place 4 of it anywhere around here, and it will turn into coal. And subsequently, you can turn that coal and take 4 of it and turn it into alchemical coal, which would be a level up from coal, which doesn't work in the machines right now. I don't think it won't work in the furnace. So it can be a little bit wasteful, because you will have to wait until that alchemical coal becomes Mobius fuel or Eternalist fuel through the energy collector, or through having 4 of it to go upwards, before actually being able to use it in any effective way. So once again, just another little tip for the equivalent exchange method. So we should be nearing the end of the maceration of this coal dust, which has been taking a bit of a while, but it tends to do that because you are running to create some stuff. So now also, with the nether redstone, instead of just like the nether gold, it'll turn 1 nether gold ore into regular gold ore. If you were to use the electric furnace for the redstone from the nether, it will actually create 6 redstone, and that is if you're really low on redstone, you don't have any other fuels, placing this, running into the nether, and getting yourself some nether redstone, you can pretty much bolster your redstone quantities instantly. So once again, let's make ourselves a cool industrial diamond. So I needed that obsidian block in order to create the coal chunk. And what we can also do is we can, the overclockers are not permanent, so you can take it out of this one, place it into this one, and turn those coal balls into compressed coal balls. Okay, so we know the drill with this one. We take the 8 compressed coal balls and we place that around an obsidian block that I made earlier using the cells. And when we take this coal chunk, we happily and gladfully turn it into another diamond. So what I said about industrial diamonds is very important when we get to this point, because place that into the transmutation tablet to learn it, it is treated just as a regular diamond, and you won't have to worry about running into any complications with it being industrial, because the computer, once it's created, does not care that is a industrial diamond over a regular diamond, because that's how it works. So that's pretty cool. So from now on, we will pretty much just solely throw all of our items into the transmutation tablet, pull out diamonds and whatever things we need, and maybe put a diamond back in if we don't need that many, and just pretty much use it to our advantage. And we will run back into the nether and get some nether gold ore so we can make, like I said, more items using the high EMC value of the nether gold. So I think that we learned a good chunk of stuff with the jetpack and the transmutation tablet, and all in all, I think that was enough for one episode. So next episode we will work on the more advanced machines, which means we're going to be upgrading our macerators and our furnaces. So thank you guys for watching. Like and share with your friends, and you guys have a great day.